You've been taught that Paleolithic humans were little more than cave-dwelling brutes, grunting, hunting, surviving day by day, with no real plan or purpose. But what if everything you thought you knew about the Stone Age was wrong? What if they weren't primitive at all, but intelligent, social, and spiritual? Today, we're going to strip away the myths and reveal the truth about Paleolithic life. This is not the Stone Age you learned about in school. This is reality. What the Paleolithic era really was, the word Paleolithic comes from the Greek paleos and lithos, the Old Stone Age. It spans from roughly 2.5 million years ago to about 10,000 BCE. But this wasn't just a time of man with rock hunts, it was the longest era in human history. To 99% of our time on Earth was spent in this period. It laid the foundation for everything we are today. Our brains, our social lives, our beliefs, even our diets. Myth number 1. They were dumb and uncivilized. Let's bust the biggest myth first. No, Paleolithic humans were not unintelligent. In fact, they had brain sizes comparable to or even larger than modern humans. They crafted sophisticated tools, hunted in coordinated groups, tracked seasonal migrations, and even cared for the sick and elderly. The Shanidar cave in Iraq revealed the skeleton of a disabled man who was taken care of by his tribe for years. That's not primitive, that's compassion. That's early humanity. Myth number 2, they just lived in caves. It's an image Hollywood can't seem to shake. Hairy humans huddled in caves. But most Paleolithic people didn't live in caves. Caves were temporary shelters, used seasonally or for ritual. In reality, they built open-air camps, shelters made of wood, stone, animal skins, and even mammoth bones. The Vastana site in the Czech Republic is over 25,000 years old and shows complex structures, fireplaces, and planned spaces. Myth number 3, no culture, no beliefs. If you think Paleolithic life was spiritually empty, think again. These people buried their dead, often with care, symbolism, and grave goods. Some bodies were laid in specific positions, with ochre, a red pigment, perhaps symbolizing blood, life, or rebirth. They created cave paintings in places like Lascaux, France, and Altamira, Spain, hidden deep within caves, away from daily life. Why paint there, unless it meant something sacred? Art, symbols, and language. The paintings weren't just decoration. They featured animal depictions, handprints, and mysterious symbols. These symbols repeated across different regions, may have been a proto-writing system or even early storytelling. Some scholars believe Paleolithic people may have used rudimentary spoken language with complex sounds, gestures, and meanings. In other words, they weren't silent, they communicated. Men hunted, women gathered. Not always, you've heard it, men hunted, women gathered. But recent discoveries challenge this. A 9,000-year-old burial in Peru revealed a female big-game hunter. Buried with her hunting tools, across continents, women may have played active roles in hunting, decision-making, and survival. Paleolithic gender roles were likely far more flexible and community-based than we thought. Technology and tool use, they didn't just chip rocks. Paleolithic humans engineered tools like projectile points, harpoons, bone needles, and even composite tools, combining wood, stone, and adhesive. They used fire, not just for warmth and food, but also for light, protection, and possibly even ritual. Fire gave them control over the night and a reason to gather and share stories. Paleolithic conflicts and cooperation, were they peaceful? Not always. Some Paleolithic remains show signs of violent deaths, trauma, and even cannibalism in rare cases. But evidence also points to cooperation, alliances, and trade. Communities shared resources and knowledge. This was a time when survival required unity, and conflict came when resources were scarce. Spirituality and the unknown. Some Paleolithic sites show carvings of half-human, half-animal figures, possibly shamans or spirits. They may have believed in afterlife, in nature spirits, or in animal deities. We'll never know exactly what they believed. The signs are clear. They asked questions bigger than survival. They wondered about death, the stars, the spirit world, just like us. What we can learn from them, Paleolithic humans were adaptable, creative, and resilient. They survived climate shifts, predators, scarcity, and they thrived. Their knowledge of the land, their connection to nature, and their cooperative lifestyles hold lessons for us today. We're not separate from them. We are them. Evolved, yes, but deeply connected. So next time someone says, primitive caveman, remember the artists of Lascaux, the hunters and gatherers who shared fire and stories, the people who looked up at the stars and wondered. The truth about Paleolithic life, it's not a story of beasts, it's a story of humans. Wild, but never stupid. Free, but deeply connected. Primitive. No, profound. If this journey changed the way you see our ancient past, don't let it stop here. Subscribe now to Decoding History and Science, where forgotten truths come to light and the past speaks louder than ever. Hit that like button, drop a comment with your thoughts, and share this video to awaken others to the real story of human history. Together, let's keep decoding the mysteries of our world, one truth at a time.